recorded live right here in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's time again for Larry's Rants, Raves, and Reviews. And now, here is Larry.
All right, folks, we're back, and I personally believe, I'm not going to speak on behalf of either Randy. I'll let them agree or disagree, but I believe the Uniparty is simply playing the game to maintain their control, grow their wealth, grow their power, and greed for themselves and their families. I mean, I don't believe in either party myself, either one of them. So, guys, we've talked a lot about the money. Randy, I know that you ran a really good, strong campaign, and went out and talked, knocked on doors, and talked a lot. And then at the very when you started gaining momentum, it seemed like there was a whole lot of dark money that entered the picture.
Yes, sir.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah.
Throw some trash out there.
Well,
name names if you want.
What I look at is that there are three branches of government. Am I correct about that?
I believe so.
The first one is what? Legislative, executive, judicial.
Okay.
Do we have three separate branches now? I think it's like they're having an internal fight on who's going to be the leader.
Oh yeah,
it's supposed to be separate but equal, right? Mm-hmm. So what I see is that we have a lot of interference from outside when you have a person that we might feel is a strong Christian conservative candidate that may not fit in the circle. Mm-hmm. Okay, they may not be the chosen one, but they would represent the people as you're supposed to. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened to me is knocked on a lot of doors, had a lot of people say, man, people are starting to recognize you, had a lot of good feedback. But then when it started getting to the point where we're about probably 3-4 weeks outside, people started calling me and they were asking me, my opponent, is he running for sheriff? I said, what are you talking about? They were getting 2, 3, 4 mailers every day.
Yes.
Every week concerning my opponent. Mm-hmm. Now, if you understand the regulations and the rules when you have a political campaign, if I send out a mailer, it has to show who it was paid for.
Yeah.
Paid by.
Right.
Okay. Paid for by Randy Sams for Senate campaign.
Yeah, I've seen that. Okay.
These flyers were coming from a PAC outside the state of Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Allegedly, those PACs, there's 2 different ones that were supposedly associated with the governor, SHS. Okay. And that's hard to come up against when I'm out there trying to do the best I possibly can, asking people, because that's one of the hardest things for me was to ask people for donations. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wish somebody could have knocked on my door and said, hey, Randy, here's a $100,000 check.
Yeah, right.
Okay. They couldn't have because that would have been over. But something like that to where it would have been a lot easier. But when you're asking people for funds, but then when you have someone that has an agenda that you may not fit their perfect, what they want to see, then they start not attacking me. I didn't have any attack ads run against me. Okay. But supposedly anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000 was spent in support of my opponent for the mailers, radio, text messaging. And people were calling me saying, Randy, we're getting 3 or 4 of these a week. Not just 1 week, but for every week.
Yeah.
Talking about my opponent as in his position of sheriff. Okay. So that's what I ran up against, is that I didn't have a war chest of $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Okay. I did everything I could possibly do to raise $50,000. So when you say the third party, that's why I focus on where are we going to get the support?
Yeah.
Where are you going to get the support? You got to get it from the people.
Yes.
I mean, it takes a lot of $100 checks to get to $300,000.
Right.
But if we get the support, they'll be there.
I'm with you.
All righty. But it just wasn't my campaign. What I saw was the dark money, these out-of-state PACs, they were attacking Arkansas state senators because they did not vote the way the governor or others may have wanted them to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they did vote the way the people wanted them to vote. I would call them conservatives.
Okay.
Not even though I have an R behind their name, they were true conservatives, and they were voting the way the people wanted them to vote.
Yeah.
But it might not have been the agenda that the governor and some of the other politicians wanted them to fall in line. The machine. Okay. And there were millions of dollars that was spent from out of state dark money. And when I talk to people, they go, "What do you mean out of state dark money?" I said, "Well, there's out of state PACs."
Mm-hmm.
And when it's an out-of-state PAC, guess what they don't have to do? They don't have to file the same reports that someone who has an Arkansas PAC, okay? Like we could start a PAC,
Okay.
but it has to be filed with the Secretary of State. It has to be approved, and you have to file reports as far as the money how much you got coming in, how much you got going out. Mm-hmm. Well, when it's an out-of-state dark money PAC, none of that takes place.
So we could take our money here in Arkansas and send out ads for somebody in Oklahoma. Is that what you're saying? And not have to show it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
What does it take? What does it take to start another party in this state? Let's say if we wanted to start this what Larry's called the Patriot Party or whatever the name we want to give it. Let's start it. What does it take to start a third party? Another party.
The people support them.
The people support.
So how are you going to get that?
Well, right now, I mean, we got a podcast. We got several hundred people watching. And we could start a GoFundMe. We could start, asking around and put a sign up in Larry's restaurant and do whatever. And then it gets around and it gets on the news, and we have started this thing. And then maybe an Elon Musk or somebody like that says, these guys are doing what we're talking about doing. So, I mean, why can't we just start it?
Nobody's holding us back.
I mean, does it cost $100,000 to start a third party? Or is it, you got to have so many people sign up? I imagine if you put that idea out there right now, and they can go ahead and comment and say, I'd sign up, and I know 10 people that would. Well, exactly what we've been talking about the past 2 weeks.
Well, I think, Randy, what you've got, you and Larry hit on this. I've spoken to too many, and I'm going to do like you, Larry, Republicans, okay, that have voted Republicans. Mm-hmm. I call them conservatives, but they vote Republican, that basically have stated, because of the atmosphere here in the state of Arkansas, with the issues that they've seen with the Franklin County Prison, mm-hmm. we could go on and on and on and on and on. Okay, But they're starting to see that the executive branch and the legislative branch doesn't really feel like they have our best interests as we the people, and they basically have said that they will not vote Republican come in November.
I bet.
Okay. Now, they also said they're not going to vote Democrat.
Right.
Okay. But if you
let's
look
give them a third option.
Well, there is a third option now in the Libertarian Party. Now, whether you agree 100% with the Libertarians, but there are options. So, do you go vote for the Libertarian, or do you? Because I'm not going to vote for a Democrat, and if I say I'm not going to vote for the sitting Republican in whether it be the governor's seat or a House rep or a Senate rep or a Secretary of State, if I'm not going to vote Republican, am I going to vote Libertarian?
Right.
And before we say a hard yes or no on that, let's also realize that for years, wouldn't you all agree that we have settled for the lesser of two evils in many elections?
Yes, everybody said that.
Yeah.
That used to be the common thing.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying, okay, you got a Republican, a Democrat, and now we've got, and it does seem like Libertarian has kind of sparked off here in Arkansas, maybe we take a good look, and maybe it's the lesser of the two evils. I'm not for sure.
Well, if you look at the candidate, and that's what I feel people need to look at. Look at the candidates that are running: Secretary of State, Governor. The young man that's running Libertarian for Governor Colt.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard he's a really good guy.
Yeah, he won 2 lawsuits against the governor because Franklin County.
And could it be that he's running as a Libertarian because he knows he doesn't stand a snowball's chance in hell as a Republican?
Well, and it could also be that he's running as a libertarian because he couldn't write a $40,000 check.
Yeah, okay.
To file against to run as a Republican against the governor.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And plus the libertarians they have a different filing period than what the Republicans or Democrats did. So they didn't have to go through the primary.
Randy, right. Let me go back to something that you said here. And I've got this this report, funding source for Republicans and Democrats, small donors under $200. Okay, Republicans are 25 to 35%. Democrats are 35 to 50%. Large donors, and they don't give a dollar number, just more than 200. I'm assuming 35 to 45. Democrats is 20 to 30. Then you've got the PACs and the super PACs, which is between 15 and 25%. You know, so the small donors that we alluded to, could we get it?
That's it.
I mean, but you're looking at a small donor. There is some money for local elections anyway.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why I feel like that we need to. You would need to start local.
It's the start to get the name in.
Yeah,
to get the name out.
Well,
well, Arkansas's done it with these guys. Well, maybe Louisiana and Florida and some of the others would follow suit and then start getting the name recognition out there. It ain't gonna happen overnight, guys.
Well, no. Look at Kentucky. What's the was it Massey?
Yeah.
So his Liberty Conservative score is like 98 or 99, and they call him a RINO. The Republicans in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
And I think Trump even endorsed his opponent, right?
Yes, I believe so. I believe so.
But to me, Thomas Massey would be the perfect person. Hey, you want someone to maybe step up and say, yeah, this time for a third party? Maybe get in contact with Thomas Massey out of Kentucky and say, here's our idea.
Is there anybody in Arkansas that we could get to approach that has some name recognition that says, that's not a bad idea? Who in Arkansas could we get?
I wouldn't say any of our current reps or senators.
You don't think so?
Person, no. I think they're all
washed
in the machine
in the wash. They are,
but it doesn't mean that we don't have someone that has from the past.
That's true.
Okay, that would be willing to step up.
That's true.
I just think it's
give us some comments, guys, on the notes there, right on the screen. Give us some comments. Help us think this through.
Who's going to be the front person? Okay, who's going to go out and give the message? Just like you have county committees, 75 counties, 75 committees, Republican, Democrat.
Right.
All righty. We'd have to have someone as far as the grassroots movement, someone in each county, or at least a majority of those counties, to be able to step up and say, hey, will you take the lead in Faulkner County? Will you take the lead in Searcy County?
Yeah.
Okay. Saline County, whatever, Pulaski County, wherever it might be, and see what kind of interest there might be. Because I think it's got to be where people get to a point where they look and they see, do I really, truly have representation in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah.
Or do I really, truly have representation in Little Rock, Arkansas? Okay? That's the question that they have to ask themselves. And when they realize that these guys are all the same, they may be talking about each other. I'm on CNN and Larry's on Fox News, and he's talking about me, and I'm talking about him. But when CNN shuts me off and Fox shuts him off, we're going down to the local saloon, and we're going to drink a beer together or whatever.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's the way it is. Like you said, they're all in it together.
And don't you think that we have been brainwashed to some degree in believing in the concept that if we vote outside our party, and then we're tinkering around with the idea of voting for a libertarian, let's say, don't you think we've been brainwashed into the idea that we're throwing our vote away?
Oh, yeah, that's what they're trying to do right now, is that if you look at any of the comments, when you see some of the libertarian posts on Facebook or X or wherever, that's the way they combat it, is they go, oh, well, if you vote for there, then the Democrat's going to win.
Right.
Okay, well, no, if we have enough vote for the Libertarian, then the Libertarian will win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Democrats, they're facing something that's they're like scared because of all this super communist stuff that these guys are out there, and they're
That's the
running
direction
scared.
they're going. That's the direction
they
they're
got
going.
they got people up there in dresses, the men in dresses trying to run for
Have you
senators.
seen that freak? My
We
God.
need to get some clips. We need to get some clips of that.
Man,
It's crazy.
I don't know that I want to show all
I
that.
know.
Well, New York City, Mandela.
Yeah, exactly,
okay?
exactly.
He says that if Netanyahu shows up in New York City, he's going to have him arrested.
I saw that.
Okay, so much for what immunity, political immunity, or whatever. But yeah, that's what I would say is that I believe that now would be a great time to start the conversation, seeing who would be interested. But it's going to take. It would be a true grassroots movement to where people understand that the objective is to actually give you a second party. If the first two are together as a uniparty, then we need a second party, right?
We really do.
Okay, a true second party.
Yes, absolutely.
And it needs to be policed.
Yes.
That's the thing that
Yes.
is where you have to look at it and say, are you conservative? Let me see your voting record.
Right.
Okay, well, you've been voting blue for 25 years, and now you want me to bring you over here to the
Yeah.
Patriot Party?
Right.
Sorry, Randy. Probably not going to work.
That's right.
Okay. No, unless you got a big check you want to write, Randy, we'll take your money. But I just think it would be, you have to have the motivation, a motivating factor to bring the grassroots people that are involved. But people have to open their eyes to realize what's actually going on, whether it be Little Rock or Washington, D.C.
Larry, I think Randy sounds like he'd be a good guy to put all this together.
By the way, we suckered you in.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That was the reason
guest
why.
appearance, right?
Wasn't that what it was all about?
We weren't going to let him.
Oh, that was too soon.
Yeah,
We
that
supposed to
was a
wait for
little
that
too
the
soon.
second half of the show.
So guys, I have this. So I have one of my mini Bibles. I have a We the People Bible.
Sweet.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And the Declaration of Independence, I'm not going to recite it to you, but I want to read this one section. Kind of gives you an idea of why we're talking about, there's the time for a third party. Okay. It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. And among those are what? Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it or to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety, happiness, prudence. That's in the
Wow.
Declaration of Independence.
My goodness.
So some people may, well, it sounds like you're trying to start a revolution. No, I'm
you just
doing
read it
exactly
from the
what the
what's-
Declaration of
what's there.
Independence said
Yeah.
we should be doing.
They better keep it. They're trying to get rid of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Constitution. I mean, if you look at it, that's what I'm saying. Our problem that I see is that we have a president who I love. Is he perfect? No, of course not. Neither am I. Neither are any
Right,
of us in this
right.
room. Okay.
Hey, my wife might be listening to this.
Well, then
Go ahead.
there we go. But he has to get anything that he wants his agenda. He has to sign what? Executive orders.
Yeah.
He can't get them passed through the legislature.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
And when you have an executive order, what happens to the judicial side?
Yep.
You've got all the liberal judges that have stepped in here and have done
Right.
what?
Yep.
Blocked it.
Blocked it. Okay. But it's like we have the House, we have the Senate, we have the White House. Supposedly we have the Supreme Court. I don't know, by the way, they voted if that's
Yeah.
true or not.
Right.
But why do we have any issues about talking about the SAVE Act? Why do we have any
Yeah,
issues
really.
about election integrity? It's not an issue of should it change. It should be changed now.
It should be.
Okay. We should go back to paper ballots.
Yep. Yep.
People say, well, you can cheat on paper ballots. Exactly. But I have a trail if I have paper.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Randy may be a computer genius, and he knows how to change my vote from Larry to Tommy over here because he knows how to manipulate the computer
And
programming.
I'll confess, I've probably been one to argue about, no, give me the iPad, give me the computer. I have been argumentative about that. I don't want to go back to paper ballots. But now I'm changing my mind to say, I think we have to.
I do.
I really do.
You take that black pen and you mark on there, and then they run it through the reader. That's all they do.
Well,
what can take any? It's as fast as anything. You mark, and send it through.
But when you mark and that's what it reads, I'm able to actually know what it read. Right.
Right.
When I
if
vote in
there's ever
Saline
a
County,
question, fine, go back to the stack and recount those. There's no hanging chads. It's a mark.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what happened in 2020 in Atlanta, Georgia, when they pulled the suitcases out from underneath? It was paper ballots, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
But there was only one name marked on the paper ballots, and it was all pristine, not folded like they were mail-in ballots.
Right.
Okay. So if you want to cheat, you can cheat.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to, but for me,
prove it.
It's voter integrity, voter intent.
Yes.
To get the people back involved in voting, to think my vote actually counted. Fill in that little circle, whatever happens to be. When you feed it in, it's going to read.
Yes.
Those names.
It's going to read the names,
not the barcode.
Right.
If you and I are competing for an office, give us an opportunity to debate. If you can out-debate me and win, so be it. All I'm asking for is a fair election.
True.
That's all I want. Just be fair about the whole thing. But the only reason that Democrats or Republicans do not want the SAVE Act is because they want to cheat. That's the only reason.
Why do you think the Republican Party of Arkansas in 2024, when we had the state convention and we overwhelmingly said we were going to close the primaries, and the RPA acted like we didn't even have a state convention? They just blew it all off. Never went in it. Why do you think that? Why as a Republican or a conservative would you not want conservatives? We're playing football.
Yeah.
We're on opposite teams. This is my offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
We have a discussion.
Yeah.
Do you think he should take the plan that we put together for offense and go give it to you as our opponent?
Right.
Why would you allow Democrats to vote in a Republican primary when you think they're going to vote for the strongest conservative candidate? No.
Yeah.
That's why we have the situation we're in right now, whether it be Little Rock or whether it be Washington, D.C., is that we have folks that are not true conservative.
Yeah.
And one of my 9 reasons is the fact that Democrats has ran under the Republican, and I even named some of them: Susan Collins, Mitch McConnell, Lisa Murkowski, John Thune, Mitt Romney. I mean, I'm just putting those names out there. Those are Democrats that have an R behind them, flat out. And they've infiltrated the Republican Party to where that's why I am saying we have a Uniparty and we need another party to come along. I may not have all the answers, and I don't. I'll be the first one to admit that.
Larry doesn't have. What did he just say?
I'm trying.
Did you hear that?
Timestamp.
I'm trying to be humble, okay? I'm trying to be humble. But I'll tell you what, we have plenty of problems, and there's plenty of corruption to point the finger at in both parties. But the voter base has become so divided. Oh, the comments that I get on some of my shorts, unbelievable, some of them. In fact, last night I'm sitting there and somebody hopped on one of them and it was about this very thing. I think it was reason number 6. And he started telling me what a blankety blank idiot I am and all of this and everything. And I kind of argued back and forth because my digital marketing manager tells me every time somebody does that and you reply, it bumps your video back up to the top.
Yep.
So, I mean, I've got a couple of shorts out there that's got like 68,000 100,000 views. And so it just keeps bumping up. So I'm just like, well, thank you, Mr. Liberal. You just helped me out, even though I'm a conservative. But I finally got to the place, and this thought dawned on me. I finally got to the place to where I said, for this particular guy, and I'll probably do it for others, hey, I'm not going to argue with you anymore. God bless you. Have a good evening. I was pulling him out, and he was smart enough. He wasn't smart enough to understand I was calling him out. His reply back in just seconds was, I happen to be an atheist. Not everybody is brain dead like you and is a Christian. And he said, and a few other remarks, and I said, that's okay, because I'm going to remember you, and I'm going to continue to pray for you.
Amen.
He never said another word.
Of course not.
Okay? But the division between the voter bases is so enormous that everybody wants to blame Trump on everything. And I've said, and I've tried to explain to people in some of these shorts that we're putting out there and me commenting back and forth is I'm not blaming the Democrats for all of this. If you would only go and listen to the episodes, I say some pretty rotten stuff about the Republican Party. I mean, I got 37 or 38 pages of manuscript right here. That's everything that I said on those 6 episodes.
Well, we have to police ourselves. They're not doing it.
No.
They're not going to police themselves.
No.
My big deal on the shirt, by the way, love the T-shirt.
Thank you, thank you.
Term
Thanks
limits.
for wearing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, we should have term limits. 2 terms.
That's right.
2 terms.
Yep.
You get $175,000 or whatever they get paid
Yeah.
to go up there. That's 8 years.
Yeah.
At the end of your 8 years, you go back to your job. You do not get your government
Full retirement.
retirement. You do not get your special medical insurance. You go back to Social Security. You go back to Medicare, just like the rest of us.
Right.
If we could make that happen, you would see everything change. Okay, you put them on Social Security versus them being able to get $175,000 for the rest of their life. It'd be a big difference.
So,
There's
guys,
special Medicare.
is there any hope that we can toss out here to our listeners at this moment? Is there any hope at all of us salvaging America?
I would say yes, but we have to get the people. Yeah, you have to pray.
You got to pray, and
You have to
let
have your
God
faith
give
in
you
God.
the wisdom and the wisdom to know exactly what to do. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it.
But you also have to have the people that need to understand the change that needs to be made, because I use this. If nothing changes, then nothing's ever going to change.
Right.
Okay.
You got to get different people.
Yeah.
We have to have people that are, guys, it's follow the money, Randy.
Yeah.
Follow the money.
I know
They
it.
get up there and Mitch McConnell's been there for how long? How many years? Schumer.
Yeah.
Go down the list, okay?
Yeah.
That they get that money. Tom Cotton, how did he raise $10 million? How's he got a war chest of $10 million?
Yeah. Wasn't he just a farmer?
I don't know what
Yeah,
he
he
was.
was.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's what I look at, is that yes, there is hope for America, but we have to get the people cannot be complacent any longer. You have to be able to wake up and realize that I've got to get involved, and we have to have an election system where now we're getting the confidence back into the people, where they say, when I cast my vote, that's what's being counted. Okay. Until that happens, if I can write a program that makes him the winner, how did Joe Biden get 81 million votes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He didn't.
No,
Yeah.
of course not. No.
And see that, and you take last election, over 80 million people came out and said, we want President Trump in office, okay? The MAGA movement. They didn't vote for a Republican. They voted for the man.
That's right.
Okay? Now we had their buy-in, but what have we done with it? if we disagree on everything that there is, okay, the one thing that we have to agree on is without President Trump, all of the corruption that's in Washington, D.C. would never have been uncovered.
That's true. What he did. And Larry, I think what we have to also look at is that you have the people that are in Washington, D.C., and they need to realize that I didn't vote because he was Republican. I voted because I felt like he was the best candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
How do you have 155 million votes cast when there's only 135 million registered voters in the United States?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's where you have to look at, and you have to realize that things have got to change. The system has to change. We have to get the people involved. And once you get the people involved, then I think then we have an opportunity to be able to bring up the third party or the second party. If you want to say the other two are one party, the Uniparty, then we need another option, a true conservative. And I believe you would have people that would grab a hold of that. I believe that personally.
Okay.
But the timing, and you have to be able to show the people this is what our objectives are. If you believe that we should be looking at conservative values, true conservative values, Christian conservative values, would you be open to coming to a meeting? Would you be open to listening, right? That's all you got to do.
Okay.
Will you listen?
Yeah.
Will you listen?
Right.
And I believe that you got to be able to do it.
Right.
The midterm is in November.
I was talking to my sister back in Missouri, and I think that it's her granddaughter's about 1.5 years old. Randy, your grandson is what? A year?
He's coming up on 5.
Huh?
You said my grandson?
Yeah, your
Luke?
grandson? Luke?
Yeah, he's
how old?
coming up on 5.
5 years. I'm sorry, I went brain dead for a minute. 5 years. My grandson is 12. And I look at this nation and I look at this world and I absolutely almost bust into tears thinking, dear God, how did we get in this shape? Is there any hope whatsoever? What kind of a world, what kind of a country are our children, our grandchildren, going to grow up in? Will they understand the freedom that we used to have? Will they understand the liberties that men and women fought for, gave their lives for? Will they ever fly to Hawaii and step off on that battleship there at Pearl Harbor? And it was such a reverence place. I remember when Carol and I visited, I stepped off and I couldn't say a word. I just went numb, thinking about what happened there and how great our nation was and the sacrifices that those people took. And I stood there and Carol knew something was really up with me. I mean, I choked up. I was just standing there. And finally she came over and whispered and she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, let me just have a few more minutes." And then I looked at her and said, "Okay, we can get back on the boat. We can go back." But I'm telling you, the sacrifice that people have made for this nation, and yet we're standing back and watching those liberties and those freedoms taken away. And I've got to tell you, doing this podcast is a lot of fun, but it's a lot of heartache too.
Sure.
Because people get on social media and they say some stuff. It's unbelievable how divided our nation is and how horrible our nation. One person actually said to me, they were bashing on Trump. I said, "Well, would you like to go back to Sleepy Joe?" Their answer was, yes. Yes. I would like to go back to Joe Biden. I'm like, I don't have the brain power to even converse with you anymore.
You can't.
I just can't. It's going to take our generation, I'm afraid. And I will tell you this, out of all of the comments that I've gotten on social media, the younger generation, and I'm talking from, let's say 25 or 30 on down, they hate us boomers. They literally, according to what I'm looking at, they hate us boomers. And yet, us boomers has been one of the most successful generations.
That's right.
And have brought them more than they could ever dream. And I'm being kind of really, maybe, I don't know what the word would be, dramatic here. But guys, I'm telling you, our country is in far worse shape than anyone could ever imagine.
Something's got to change.
And I'm going to tell you, this podcast has opened my eyes up to how horrible our nation really is. Isn't it funny? And then we'll land this plane. President Trump can fly to any other country and they cheer him, they love him, and they treat him like royalty. And yet, in our country, in America, he's hated. The Democrats, the liberals, the communists, whatever you want to label them, that far left has systematically taken over our country. They started in our colleges and started giving all of this rhetoric and stuff to our kids. Then they went to high school. Now they're down in junior high. Now it's acceptable that a drag queen can sit there in a I said junior high, I meant kindergarten. A drag queen can sit in a kindergarten classroom and entertain children. But if a pastor wanted to go in there and read them some kind of a Bible story, oh no, it'd be totally wrong.
Yep.
Totally wrong. Right is no longer right. Wrong is no longer wrong in America. We have got our country so screwed up. It is unbelievable. So, folks, I'd love to be able to give you a lot of hope. And I'm going to go with what Randy and Randy said. Yeah, we can get this thing turned around, and I pray to God we can. But it's only God that's going to be able to do it. Folks, I hope that you'll come back next episode and hear us one more time. But give this a lot of thought, okay? Because we've been very serious here, putting in some... I put in a lot of work in this mini-series, and I wanted to land this thing with these 2 episodes with Randy and Randy about how a third party might just happen. If you have any other comments or any questions, or if you say, hey, here's an idea on what you could do, send it to me. Send it to me. We'll talk about it again on the air. Randy, it's always been a pleasure to have you. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your wisdom. I love your heart, man. I really do.
Yeah.
You're a good guy. Really good guy. Folks, I hope that you will have a great day.